And that's the biggest question that people have out there. Like, how am I supposed to save money when all of my income is gone? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the City DNA podcast. I was thinking about this the other day, and young people have just simply forgotten about ever buying a house. And it's quite the shame. With high interest rates, high rental rates, high grocery prices, and the astronomical prices of homes these days, I totally get it that they'll never be able to buy a house. There is something that can be done, though, and I'm going to show you what that is. It's something that was never taught to any of us in school, but should have been. Today's guest, Hilal Pervaiz, if I said that correctly, is going to show us exactly what I mean. We're going to talk about finances and how you can save up to buy your home way faster than you ever thought. Hilal, what's going on?
Hey man, Andrew, thanks for having me. I'm excited. I always get pumped up about these podcasts because I've been watching you do yours, and I just love being part of the community that we can actually give back. And like you said, we're talking about finance today, and that's my jam. But yeah, dude, I'm really excited. Thanks for having me on, and I know we're going to be able to deliver a ton of value for the people that we're sitting down with, and who are going to be able to see this. I'm pumped.
Absolutely. I'm pumped too. And what's really cool about these podcasts is, when someone says the word podcast, it's like, whoa, a podcast. You're going to do 52 this year. Whoa.
Yeah,
You know what it is? It's
yeah,
just two people having a conversation, and it
it
happens
is.
to be recorded. Because you
Yeah,
think about it, how many times a day do you have conversations with people,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And some of those conversations can add value to other people. And that's exactly what this is. And that's how this particular podcast was born, in a conversation that you and I had about people, who have lost their dream of owning a home. And it's
Absolutely.
it's very sad. And there's something that they can do about that. So why don't you tell us what you got?
Wicked, man. Well, I guess the biggest thing is being a younger individual, almost 30. And I remember when we bought our first house years ago, that was a big stretch for us. And now you're seeing people around my age have a real hard time with that, and I think a lot of it has to do with most people just don't know where to start. Most
Absolutely.
like we kind of I look at our paychecks. Like we get these paychecks. You work for 40 hours. You check your pay stub. You're like, didn't know the government worked for 12 of those hours. Like this is crazy. And we just don't really have a guide or a what's the word, like a user manual, right? That says, hey, do this with your money and you'll be okay. And obviously, one of the biggest steps to buying a house is saving. But I'm sure you've seen this now, Andrew, too. Is people just don't have enough money to save. We're getting kind of not that we don't want to save. It's just all our money is being put towards debt and living and breathing now, right? We're getting taxed on tax on tax. And hopefully we can kind of tackle some ways that people can cut costs and help obviously increase their savings, is what we're going to kind of tackle. And yeah, I mean, dude, things are expensive. Things
Absolutely.
are expensive.
And that's the biggest question that people have out there. Like, how am I supposed to save money when all of my income is gone?
Yeah.
That's the question that I hear so often. And one of the things that I heard, and this is what again prompted our conversation, was I met this guy who remembered me from being the realtor that sold his student rental.
Mm.
And since then, he's graduated and become an engineer. And I was just saying, hey man, when are you going to buy your first house? And he looked at me and shook his head and said, I'm never buying a house. And I said, why? Well, I'll never be able to afford it. I make
Mm.
$80,000 a year, and that's what it costs me to live
Wow.
So how are people like that, engineers, nurses, construction workers, teachers, people that make good money, how are they even supposed to save?
Yeah. Yeah. I heard this quote once and it's always stuck with me. And it goes, do you ever feel like there's more month than money? And whenever I hear it and I play in my head, I just think it sounds so silly, but that's how everyone's feeling. Like it's the 15th of the month, we're pumped up, we get paid, and then there's 15 days left, and we're kind of like, ooh, there's 15 days left of the month. Like I have nothing left,
Yeah.
and people aren't living paycheck to paycheck anymore. They're just living paycheck to halfway through paycheck, and hopefully I can manage. and it's forcing us into a lot of debt. And when we're in a lot of debt, we can't save anymore. And I think one of the biggest things, and I think most advisors will always say this, is build a budget sheet.
Hmm.
I think the problem with calling it a budget sheet is you already kind of, I don't know, it's more of a spending sheet because we got to spend money. It's a spending sheet. So,
Yeah.
I think a great tip for people who are watching this who are thinking, okay, how do I even start? First, you got to figure out where you're spending money because even though things are tight, there are a lot of things that we are spending money on that we don't always need to spend money on all the time. You know those like Costco grocery trips you go, you're like, hey, I gotta go in there for blueberries, and you walk here, you're like, damn, I just spent $440 on blueberries,
Yeah.
right? It's expensive, so we just gotta watch where we're spending first, and over the last 30 years, Andrew, income has been so flat. We just don't make enough money. And middle income families, there's three big challenges that we're having. And until we can solve these challenges, it makes it almost impossible for us to really think about owning a home. And the first one really is debt. We just don't. Kind of sucks, dude. Like we don't win we don't win in a lot of things, but we're number one in the world for debt. Uh, yeah, yeah, we did it. Right, we're on top. We're at almost. It's about 183, 184% debt to income ratio. So that means for every dollar we earn, we owe $1.84. And I'm positive, Andrew, someone's gonna hear me say this on this chat, and they're gonna say, "Well, I have no debt." Great, dude. Your neighbor's at 350%. So you screwed them over, right?
Yeah.
And that's a Canadian average. It's not okay. And the next challenge why we can't buy a house is we can't save,
Yeah.
right? And Andrew, you'll remember this 20, 30 years ago, people were saving 15 to 20% of their income.
What are you saying? I'm old or what?
No, hey, I'm saying you were here 30 years ago. You might have been 32 years old, right? But
Yeah, I wasn't born yet, right?
yeah, there you go, right? But the reality is, like, we can't save 20%. That's crazy. Find
No.
me somebody under the age of 30 who's comfortably saving a 20%, even if they're living at home.
Yeah. Yeah. And totally to add to that, house prices are probably 10, 15 times what they used to be. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I
big
remember
time.
looking for my first home, and it was less than $100,000.
Yeah, that's
Now that says
crazy.
how old I am, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I was about to say, 30 years ago, a house was 68 grand,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
We paid
like,
85,000 for it.
amazing, man. And watch, I bet that same house is what, 850 grand.
Yeah, but in where that is, the house is maybe worth 600,000, but still,
Wow.
it's a
Still,
it's
man.
a big increase.
Well, now we look at incomes, right? Like somebody making $20 an hour 30 years ago, that was a great income. Like my dad made
Absolutely.
$20 an hour. Back
Yeah,
in 94, 96, he made 20 bucks an hour. There's five of us, fed us. My mom stayed home. We did okay. I didn't go on vacations every other month, but we
yeah,
did okay.
yeah.
Fast forward that same $20, there's no way someone's living and feeding a family of five. And it doesn't
$20 is
matter.
nothing. It's absolutely
No,
nothing.
no. So
Yeah,
it boils down the reason why we got so much debt and the reason why we got such a savings challenge is we are in a income deficit. Income has been flat for the last 30 years.
yeah. Do you think
Eh,
some of that comes from the lifestyle that we live, though, too? Where, I don't really care. I'm not. There's no reason to save, so I'm just going to spend. I'm going to go to Starbucks and get an $8 coffee. I'm just going to live my life because I can't take it with. Do you think there's some of that in there, or
I think you're right, man. I think a lot of that, but it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I think a lot of people go, screw it, I'm gonna buy this $8 coffee because even if I didn't, that $8 isn't gonna make a difference for me to buy a home, and that's also a mentality thing,
yeah,
right? People go, hey, woe is me, I'm not gonna own a house, so why not just buy the coffee? It's $8. Versus there's some people that go, I'm not gonna spend $8 on a coffee. I will penny pinch and save every little dollar I got. But you're right, it is a culture thing too.
you know what? It adds up. Let me just calculate this here. You
Yeah.
probably better. You probably already have it done in your head. $8 times 30 days. $240 a month.
Let's take this a little further. Okay, $240 a month times that by 12, we're at 2880. That's this crazy. So if the average Canadian right now saves 0 to 3% of their annual income.
Hmm.
Say they take home 100 grand and they save 3% of that.
That's
That's
$3,000. Nothing.
There you go. That's nothing. That's literally your $8 coffee.
Yep, absolutely. So tell me, okay, you're probably going to get into this, but I'm curious to know if I was 20 years old
Yeah,
and I saved $8 a day, I
yeah,
guess, or three, whatever. Like, what's a realistic income for a 20-year-old, or 25? We'll say they graduate.
yeah. Well, what the average
50,
income?
50K?
Yeah, what the average income is what, like 48 grand right now.
All
But
right, well,
let's round up.
let's use
Let's use
50.
50. Yeah, let's use 50. So let's see. Hold on, I'm pull up my calculator at the same time. Say 50 grand. What are you taking home after taxes? Right? You got 38,000
True.
basically. You got 38,000. I divide that by 12 months. You got 30. You got basically $3,100 a month coming in. You get paid
Yeah,
twice on average, right? The average person is getting paid biweekly or semi-monthly. You're getting a $1,500 check every 2 weeks.
yeah,
Uh,
that's
you,
nothing.
that's nothing.
You
And
know,
what's average rent right now? Like in
a
Guelph.
basement apartment's going to run you $2,000.
Okay, so
So
look at this.
So you got to marry somebody. That's the first rule that we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
You got to get
yeah,
married to live with somebody.
yeah, yeah. Well, it works both ways. I mean, it helps with the rent, but then it also gets very expensive, right?
Hey,
Raising a family gets
problems. Yeah, problem is solved. Marry a rich older person. There you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
All's rules for
Yeah.
money.
Were they yeah, rich older woman. There you go. Oh my God. Yeah. Can you have kids? Do you want kids? No? All right, sweet. I want to remove in.
Yeah,
Holy smokes. But look, we got $3,000, $3,200 that comes in, and then I take out 2,000 bucks. You're left with 1166. Okay, we'll just use $1,200 because
easy
math is
math.
not my strong suit, says the financial advisor. But we got 1,200 bucks. Okay, what is living cost, Andrew?
Yeah,
The average car payment right now is $350.
yeah.
Okay, let's take 350 out. Oh, but you know what? We're gonna be frugal. We're gonna just take the bus, so it's a $50 bus pass a month. All right,
Okay.
so now we got 1150. We're bussing around. Okay, well, what's groceries cost? And we're not unhealthy, but we're healthy enough where we want to make sure we eat the right amount of food. I know I eat about $100 worth of groceries a week, at least. I think that's pretty average. I can't say. I mean, I have like protein shakes and stuff. Well, what do you think, Andrew? What do you think the average human being is spending on groceries?
If they are frugal and eat at home and don't go to restaurants, things
Yeah,
like that,
no restaurants. You
you know,
don't
I
get to enjoy yourself at all.
I think you can do it for 125
125.
if you
Cool.
shop at No Frills.
At no frills. Cool. All right. You got to go in when it's the clearance, the 50% off markdown base.
Yeah,
So 125 a week.
yeah.
Is that where you? Okay.
Let's
Holy
work with that.
smokes.
Yeah.
All right. 125.
See if that works
Now
with the
we're
numbers, or did I screw it up?
yeah. Okay. So we're at $650. Okay.
Yeah,
The average phone bill in Canada is $100.
yeah,
Okay. I don't know anybody who doesn't even have a phone, and I don't think bus passes are $50, but I'm not gonna go check. But
yeah,
let's just assume they're 50.
yeah,
We're so far at 550. Okay, now we're at home. We also have internet. Internet, you can get a good deal. If you go back and forth between providers every box you make, go back and forth. Say you're paying 75 bucks.
yeah. That's reasonable.
You're Yeah, 75 bucks. You got 475. This is not including anything else. This is your eating, breathing. What else are we? Oh, dude, you got your hydro, right? If you're renting, you got your hydro,
Hmm.
your electric bill. What does that cost an apartment nowadays, Andrew? You think?
You can do gas for $80.
Yeah.
Electric if you're not showering every 5 minutes.
All right.
Because in Guelph the water and electric are in the same bill.
Okay.
You can do it for 150 easily.
That's
That's
eight
being
150 combined.
no total. Or no, yeah, sorry, individually.
Oh,
And this is if you're like one person though. Like you got to be realistic that you're probably living with somebody at that age, whether
yes.
it's your parents or you're a student or you have a roommate. That's very common. You know,
Yes.
living on your own.
It's very uncommon now.
Yeah, it's very well out of necessity, of course, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So the numbers you're saying are just for an individual. So maybe you should cut it in half to be realistic.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so we're gonna be splitting. Well, then we gotta go add the rent back, so we'll add rent. Okay, if it's rent was 2,000 bucks and I got a roommate, we'll put 1,000 bucks back on there. Um, Plus the groceries are your own groceries. You can't really do much there, and we'll add half the gas and electric. We got 1320 back. And you know what? If I am having a roommate, I think it's fair to say they'll probably have a car, right? Because I'm
Yeah, one of the two will.
cool. One of the yeah.
If you
Hopefully
pick,
we work together.
well, that's not funny because that's what's happening out there.
Is that
People
people are
are,
making those decisions?
yeah,
Yeah,
okay, you got a
yeah,
car, I don't. I have a little bit more income, you don't. Let's live together, as
yeah,
opposed to you're my
yeah,
best friend, I want to live with you. It's like,
yeah,
no, you're my best friend, but you don't have a job, so you're
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. You know what? It's crazy the decisions that we're making. This generation has to make. You're right, has to make so they can go. I really do want to live on my own, but I also need to work, and
Yeah,
I don't want to live at home, but I need to make sure I find somebody who's suitable to be a roommate.
yeah,
I can only imagine how stressful that is continuously getting for everybody. Uh,
it's
But
nuts.
with that, one of them's got a car. We got like 1,300 bucks left.
Yeah,
Okay, 1,300 bucks. That's assuming you are on the strictest budget possible. And now you say like, which I don't. That's assuming nothing goes wrong. All right, life is perfect, dandy.
yeah,
You don't buy clothes. You don't need to buy new toothpaste. You don't need to buy extra commodities. Nothing. That is, I'm on the strict budget. I'm on a strict spending sheet budget or
yeah,
whatever you want to
yeah,
call it. How are we doing this, man? Like, the biggest reason why people have these challenges is because we just don't make enough money,
yeah,
right?
true.
And so I guess this leads me to if you got 1,300 bucks and say to cover emergencies, things like that, and you save a portion of that, call it 500 bucks.
Hmm.
Okay, so if the average person is saving 500 bucks a month, which truthfully, I don't think people can. I don't sit down with a lot of people, Andrew, that are saving 500 bucks, but
No,
that's also looking at as they're being on this crazy strict budget. Assuming they do that over the course of 20 years, that 500 bucks is going to be worth. Oh, actually, we'll do. Nobody wants to wait 20 years to buy a house. It's over 10 years. That's 97 grand.
yeah,
Or assuming like a 9% rate of return, you got 97 grand.
yeah,
Is
but
that
here's
enough for a down payment on a house?
totally, totally. And there's lots of programs out there that can help you as well, even if you don't have that much of a down payment. That's not what we won't talk about unless you want to talk about it. But there are other programs that are sort of like shared ownership programs where a
Cool,
company will take your, say you have 5% down payment, they will top that up to 20%.
cool, cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah,
So there are ways you just don't own the whole house, and when you go to sell it, you break up the equity based on what percentage of the
they gave
20%
you,
they put in, right?
and
Which
that
is a
that seems like
far
a
is way better than paying rent for 10 years. I'll tell you, man.
yeah. I was just about to say that. So there's ways for people to get into house. They're not always super accessible to everybody. That doesn't seem like it's common knowledge for the average 25-year-old who goes, I want to buy a house. I don't think they're looking at these equity sharing
Yeah.
programs, are they?
No, they're not. Not well, they don't know about them, right? And that's the job of people like me, realtors, and people like you to, help them not only save money, how to invest money, which we'll talk about in a second, I think.
Yep.
How to pay less taxes is another one. But what other programs are there to supplement? And all these things together will make it a lot easier for you to buy your first home. Trust me.
Yeah.
People are doing it all over it, and that's because they know. A lot of people that are listening to this, they probably don't know any of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
first thing is to save a little bit of money each month, starting with a budget, figure out what it is you actually spend. You'll probably be able to pare that down a little bit if you're really
Yep.
serious about, your future.
Yep. That's
And then what
seven.
happens after that?
Perfect. I think the next one is to actually, most people don't know about this because it's a brand new account. It came out last year. You're able to start putting money into it last year, but if you haven't, you can open one up. It doesn't cost money to open it up. Just talk to an advisor, go to a bank, whatever. But it's called a FHSA, First Home Savings Account.
Yeah, it's a tongue twister. The government
Yeah.
sucks at naming those things, eh?
Yeah, man. Holy, I've been calling TFSA's TIFSAs for the first 5 years of my life, man. TIFSA. Yeah, I don't even know how to spell RSP now. So, but these first home savings account
Yeah,
FHSA there you go, is probably one of the coolest things that they've come out with
yeah, it is cool.
because well, dude, like people want to be able to save, and I find people go, do I put it in RSP or TFSA? And so the government says, hey, we're going to really help you out with buying a home, which is nice because government doesn't always help out, but they came out with this program where it allows people who want to be a first-time home buyer and to start saving properly for dedicated funds for their new home. And how the program works, Andrew, is pretty simple. You take how an RSP works and a TFSA works, and you mash them together. I'll explain both of those in a second, but what this allows you to do is have an investment that helps you lower your taxes, okay? Helps you puts you in a lower tax bracket like an RSP. And then the other side is while that money is in there, it grows tax free, like a tax free savings account. And when you take that money out, it is still tax free. The reason why this is such a unique program is because for those who are listening and who are using RSPs, a big reason why we use RSPs is because it defers our taxes, And when we defer our taxes, Andrew, it's RSP is a funny thing because it's really oversold and undereducated. Like and most people, not everybody needs an RSP, right? Like when I was 18 and I made like $11 an hour, I don't think I needed an RSP, but I had one because the bank said you should open one up. And I said, okay, I don't know what this is. I didn't have a TFSA, but I had an RSP. So an RSP works like this. Man, I wish I could draw. I can't draw in here, can I?
Yeah, no, you can't. No.
Ah, damn, that's all right. I'm going to be extremely descriptive, everybody. So watch my face and hands, all right? But so an RSP works a lot like an umbrella, okay? Inside that umbrella, you can attach various types of investment, whether it be stocks, mutual funds, whatever it might be, okay? GICs, okay? Don't buy those. Here's your umbrella, and inside that is a mutual fund. When you get your paycheck, you're taxed. You put it under the umbrella. It's attached to a mutual fund, which is goal to grow. And as it grows, it is tax sheltered. It is under that umbrella. Tax can't get you. All right. When you take that money out, you are out of the umbrella. So now you are taxed. Okay. Why this is helpful is because it lowers your total taxes you pay in a year. So if you've got, let's say, 50 grand coming in a year from your job and you put money into an RSP and you put, say, 5 grand, the government's going to say, hey, we overtaxed you on $5,000. That's why you get a bigger refund check. Okay?
Right.
And we take that money and we put it into a TFSA. Stick it in TFSA. Or in this case, throw it in a FHSA, all right?
You're saying take the tax money that you got
The
back?
refund, yeah. A lot
Yeah,
of people take
got it.
that refund. They go, "Sweet, I got bonus money. This refund, I'm gonna go spend it on a night out. I'm gonna take my wife
Vacation.
out, vacation. I'm gonna pay off some extra bills, which might be helpful. Or somebody might buy a new Xbox. All right, it's a variety of things that people do. The best thing to do is when you get that return, especially using your RSPs, you now take that money and you throw it into your first-time home savings account if you haven't maxed it out, or your TFSA. Okay, so how a TFSA works is probably the greatest thing. I think I don't know if this is true, so somebody can fact check me, but I believe it was supposed to be called a tax-free investment account. But banks lobbied against it and said it should be called a savings account because it looks nicer, and people hear savings, they think about a bank, not an investment place.
Right.
And that's just I don't know if it's true. I've heard from the grapevines that this is something that was done, which I don't think it was, but it is a tax-free investment account.
Right.
And how it works, Andrew, is when you get you get your paycheck, you throw it into a tax-free savings account, it grows tax-free. How does it grow? Well, it's attached to like an investment, like a mutual fund. As that mutual fund grows, it grows tax-free. When you're ready to take that money out, it is again tax-free. That's wicked. That's it's but people don't use it. People use, you know what people use a tax-free savings account for? They use it for a rainy day fund.
Right.
They put money in, take it out, put money in, take it out. They're like, well, it's tax-free. Yeah, I know, because you already put money in that was already taxed. You took it out. Don't do that. Just put it in. Leave it. So, so when you take those two products and you stick them together, that's what you get, the first time home savings account, the FHSA, where you can lower your taxes and it can grow tax deferred and tax free. And when you take it out for your home, it is tax free. And you can put that towards your new home. So I mean, there's a lot there. So hopefully we can snip those up and and cut them up properly. But does that make sense?
That makes total sense.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool. I
Yeah,
just hope,
absolutely.
I hope that I was as descriptive as possible, and you guys can see a box and an umbrella when I'm explaining
Yeah.
that. So,
Now I already knew what RSPs and TSFAs are and all that stuff, so it makes complete sense to me. But I think the way that you described it should make sense to people,
sweet. That's
right?
important. That's
I
important.
think I think the what you should say, I guess, is that there's limitations to these. You can't put, if you had $100,000, you can't just put 100,000 into it. You have limits,
Yeah,
right? So explain that and
yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll start off with the first time home savings account, right? So each year, okay, you can have one, and your spouse can have one.
okay,
Okay, that's really important. So if she's more than a roommate, then you guys could do this, all right? So if you and your spouse each contribute $8,000 a year, which is the maximum limit per year in a first-time home savings account,
okay,
you can deduct that amount from your taxes is number one.
right.
Number two is that's your limit for the year. Now, in total, you can have a total of $40,000 inside a first-time home savings
So it caps out at 40,000 that you put
per
in,
that
right?
you've put in. So 8 grand, 8 grand, 8 grand, 8 grand. So 8 times 5, ladies and gentlemen, 40,000. So 5 years. So here's how you really want to look at it: is I can buy a house. Okay, I can buy a house in 5 years, me and my spouse. I know
Right.
it's a long ways away, but this is assuming you're only using the first time home and savings account, and you put 8 grand in there, and your spouse puts 8 grand in there. And you guys do that, you got 80 grand. And Andrew, you were just talking about programs where people can do equity sharing programs.
Yeah.
And there are other options out there. So if somebody's got 80 grand for a first time home, there's a possibility that they're now in the realm of being able to purchase their own home. Correct?
Absolutely.
So there's your limits on the first time home savings account. It's about 8 grand. It is 8 grand a year per person. Okay, and if you've already owned a home, you're not a first time home buyer, so you cannot use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will not be able to use it. So that's some of the limitations for that. I don't know if I don't think I missed anything there, but
No,
yeah,
just the problem I see is that if you're 20 years old, you're probably not going to be able to save that much, and you're not going to be purchasing a home in 5 years.
yeah.
So, is there limitations to that program? Like you have to buy a house in a certain amount of time?
Ah, that is a great question. Uh, hmm. I can't
I,
actually remember. I don't think there's an immediate one. I'm gonna double check right now.
this is where if we were the Joe Rogan podcast, he'd have some guys
Yes,
coming up with that answer right now.
watch
But
1 year from now, man. We're gonna have a studio and a guy
yeah,
that does that.
I do think you need
Absolutely.
to use it in a certain time frame, whether it's 10 years, 15 years, or something like that.
It's
So
15 years. 15
15,
years
yeah.
after opening the account, or by December 31st of the year you turn 71,
Got it.
whichever comes earlier. I think I'd like to see people inside a home before they are 71.
It's true.
So,
Absolutely. Although I just sold a home to first time home buyers. They were 60 and 70 years old.
well, before 71, eh? That's
Yeah.
awesome. Good
Well,
for them.
they used the program I was telling you about too. They saved up their 5% or maybe a
Equity
little
share.
bit less than 10%. And then
Amazing.
this company called Our Borrow topped it up for them. So they're able to get the house that they wanted for the price that they wanted. It was good.
Amazing. Amazing. And then one other rule for the first time home savings account, which is super important, is there's a 90-day rule. So you can't put money in there and use it for a home within 90 days. It has to be been that money needs to sit there for at least 90 days
Yeah.
before it can be drawn. And then yeah, that other than that, there's really no other rule, but you do got to use it after the 15 years. you got to shut that account down, and it could be rolled over into a TFSA or an RSP.
Yeah, and you could do the opposite though too. If you're young, you don't think that you're able to save $8,000 a year, which for realistically a lot of people that age can't. You could put it into a TSFA,
Yeah.
take that TSFA at some point and put it into a first home saver whatever plan. That's
Yeah.
such a bad acronym. Just call it a first time homebuyers plan.
Oh
Like
my, of an RSP when you use a first time home savings account. Now, if you are in the lower tax bracket, right? So, like, for example, lowest tax bracket, pull this up.
yeah, that's my
Lowest,
point though. Is they're probably going to be in the lowest tax bracket at that point,
yeah,
right? And only may be able to save 100, $200 a month.
yeah. And
So
at that point, you're right, Andrew. Like, the best thing to do is really put that inside a tax free savings account until they
yeah,
are making more.
yeah,
When your income goes up past 50 grand, then past 42 grand, 42? Yeah, 42 is that first marginal bracket,
yeah,
I believe. When your income goes past that, that's when you start going, okay, I'm going to put some in here into that first time home savings account,
yeah,
lower your taxes, and then use your TFSA as well. There's no point in abusing your first time home savings account when you don't need to use all of its benefits. You will have more flexibility in a TFSA. So yeah, and those are the limitations, and then even yeah, I mean I think that covers it for the first time home savings account.
yeah.
So
It's a good tool for sure, hands down. You just have to have the money for that. So, like you said at the beginning, you have to, do your budget, find ways of grabbing that extra one or $200 a month and put it aside. One of the things that I was thinking about today, as
yeah,
as leading up to this podcast, is simply that if somebody learns this when they're young, they have a way better chance at success in life.
oh
Most
yeah,
people don't learn about the rules of money until they're later in their 35, 40 years old, when life has already happened to them, right?
yeah,
But if you learn it young and you learn how to budget and save, if you you probably have a calculator somewhere in your vicinity. If you were able to put away $200 a month starting at 18 years old,
yeah,
if that was possible,
yeah.
how much money would you have at retirement at 65 if you made, we'll say, 7% interest on that on average, which is pretty low? You can make a lot more than that.
Absolutely, man. So say you're putting $200 away for 47 years at 7%. Okay, this is assuming you start right when you're 18 years old. You're gonna have
Yep.
around $882,000, assuming you average 7%. Now,
Yep.
if you've got that much time, Andrew, you would be looking at 8 or 9. But just to help people understand the power of compounding, is 47 years,
Yeah.
$200 at 8%. It's 1.2 million.
What?
At
Okay,
nine
okay,
percent.
do it at 9.
Yeah, yeah, at 9%. Dude, it's $1.7 million.
Okay, do it at 10%.
Okay. Oh no, my calculator doesn't do
Does,
10. Hold on, hold
doesn't
on.
go doesn't go that high.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It
think
doesn't have
there's probably
parity.
rules. I think there's rules
There is.
you can't do that. Yeah, you can't
Yeah,
tell people at
yeah,
10% it's going to make whatever, right?
yeah. Well, here I have another calculator that I could use. And guys who's listening to this, you can really Google compound interest calculator, or future value calculators. It works that way. But if we were doing monthly $200 at 10%, this is crazy. Over the course of 47 years, smokes. Dude, after 47 years, if you average 10%, you're gonna have $2.5 million.
That's crazy. That's nuts, eh?
Well, and dude, what you gotta look at is you put this in a tax-free savings account. So it's growing tax-free. So now you have $2.5 million tax-free. That's wild.
That's nuts, eh? And people don't realize that just saving a little bit of money. And of course, as you get older, you make more money, you have a business or whatever it is, you're going to be able to save more than $200 a month too. This is just an extremely conservative thing. But the point that I wanted to make is the power of time. So if
Yes.
you're listening here, you might consider not going to get that Starbucks coffee. Maybe get two less a week,
Yeah.
right? There's
Yeah.
$16 times 4, 64, something like that. That's pretty decent.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not hard.
It isn't. Even if you look at your paycheck, right? Like most people, even if you're working part-time, minimum wage, just pay yourself first.
Yeah.
That really is one of the biggest rules. Like
Yeah. Out of
we
sight,
can,
out of mind, right?
yeah, like we always like. I know we started talking about like spending sheets and stuff, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're gonna spend money regardless. You're not gonna follow your budget. Most people don't. Stuff pops out. You want to go to a concert, throws your whole budget off.
Yeah.
But if you work with the money you have left, makes it a little easier. If you get paid on every Friday, every other Friday, just have an automatic payment come out of your account.
Yeah.
Pre-authorized checking come out of 25, $50. Even if it's $25, dude, $50 a month, right? Even if you did $50 a month for 47 years, it's almost 500. It's 450 grand, $447,000. The crazy thing that you brought up though, man, is the time, and in relation to that is how much you actually contributed, right? Like for you to have $200 a month going in,
Hmm.
you would have contributed $112,000,
That's nothing.
rounded up to 113. You would have contributed $113,000, but you'd have 1.7 million if you've averaged 9%.
That's crazy.
I think the biggest reason why people struggle, the majority of us, I would say, is just when it comes to the tools and rules of the money game, Andrew. It's really I hate saying this, but it's really the top 5%, the wealthy that get access to better resources, better information, better insurance, better investments, better wealth building tools, better generational wealth concepts, right? And because all that money, the wealthy have that at the top, and they got the rules. The 90% of us, we really have been abandoned, and
Yeah.
because we've been abandoned, financial literacy is at an all-time low. That's why That's why most people right now in Canada, Andrew, are struggling. Is that they have no idea what to do with their money. They have no idea how money works. They don't. And like, what school doesn't teach us about money.
They don't teach you that at all.
Yeah.
What they should teach is not how to not click on those ads you see all over social media.
Oh yeah. Oh
How to
yeah.
get rich, how to do
Yeah.
YouTube, how to do, all this stuff and spend, spend, spend. That's all, it's just ridiculous.
One thing that I know that our values have always aligned is how we go on an educational approach with our clients versus
Yeah.
like on the finance side it's very educational, on the real estate side it's very educational, and rent to own programs, whatever is available. This Arboro program, the equity, it is a very educational approach that we've always had, and I've
Hmm.
always felt that that similarity between us. But most people don't have somebody walking them through step by step how to get there.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
like those ads, those courses and all that. For those who are listening, if you sell courses, this is whatever. If you buy courses, just listen. Okay? In the world, there's so many things that show you, hey, do you want to open up an Amazon, Shopify, do this, do this. A lot of go do this. And they talk about, hey, do you want to do this and be a multimillionaire and work 4 hours a week and go do this? But when you go looking how to do it, and they go, hey, buy this course and we'll tell you how to do it. That's what's missing, is there isn't just resources where people are genuinely saying, let me show you how to do that.
Yeah.
Right? It's all go do this. Oh, what's that? You want to learn how to do it? No problem. Come on in. You got to
Yeah,
pay
give me some
four.
money.
Yeah,
I'll
four
show
equal
you.
payments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Four
I'll
equal
show you the
payments
rules
of
of money.
$2.99.
Yeah.
Yeah, by buying my course, and then you watch this course, and I know because I've done it. I watch these courses, and at the end of the course, Andrew, I always think, I can't believe I just paid this guy $2.99 to tell me I am dumb. It's like I don't know, I don't know how to do this. This is crazy. And I'm not saying that's how all courses are. I'm just saying we live in a go do this world with very little. Let me actually genuinely help you.
Yeah.
There's such little cooperation from other people. I get it. We're in business. We got to make money,
Yeah.
but there's very little how to do this. It's, hey, if you really want me to teach you, you got to pay me. And I think the way that you've built your business on that educational front is exactly the best
Yeah.
way to do it. I think everyone wants to be wealthy, and everyone deserves to have the tools and resources to be wealthy in that category, that middle income and low to no income. They
Yeah.
deserve to be wealthy. They
Yeah.
deserve to have the challenge. It's up to them to make that decision if they don't want to do it and do the work. But there should be more accessible resources for the most of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's available. Just again, people have tried to monetize that stuff because they want to get more money,
Yeah.
right? It's always seems to be a paywall behind stuff. They give you just enough information that makes you, well, I just want a little bit more because I want to be rich just like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, all the money that's on the table is all fake bills that they bought on Amazon.
Oh yeah.
There's a place
I
I read this about this place in Los Angeles. This guy had a brilliant idea. He made this studio set in this little office space that he rented,
yeah.
and what it was, it looked like the interior of a jet, and people would rent the space for filming their YouTube channels or their ads and stuff like that. It was all the same jet that they had. They'd change up some colors and stuff like that, but this is what the world's come to. So you can't believe
Wow.
all this stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I just saw I actually something in Toronto, something similar, but the company has you can buy bills as props. So
exactly.
like
Yeah,
you see like these like videos, these like rap videos, and these guys are like, "Yo, call me on," and they got like 500 grand in their shoulders, and you're thinking, Why'd you take out a loan to take out 500 grand for a video? Like you gotta put that back, eh? You gotta put that back. And I found out that they're props. I don't know why I never clicked in that. Hey, they're
yeah,
probably
yeah,
props,
yeah,
but like they're freaking props.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just cardboard.
Oh yeah. And then I saw one where they brought in this big briefcase of money, and they said that it's real. They had security guards. They just went all out with it and stuff. I bet you that was just fake too. Like, who's gonna bring
Yeah,
100 grand of cash in a briefcase?
yeah, man.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is wild, man. What do you think most? Do you think most people kind of it's popped in my head, but do you think most people are excited about their income, Andrew?
No, no, people are stuck with they're stuck. People are stuck in the job that they have, and that's something too. Is in our society, even in my age bracket, we were taught to go to school, get a good education, and get a job, right? And for me, I always thought I had to have a white collar job, be some kind of manager or, got to be a VP of some company.
Yeah,
Being a construction worker was out of the question because it's dirty and you don't have any clout with that, whatever it was. And I think that's pretty much the same as it is today. Although I hope that shifts because we need construction workers and people like that as well. But I think we were sold a lie.
yes,
You know,
yeah,
bottom line is though we're stuck in our jobs that most of us hate. Although I love my job and you probably love yours too.
yeah,
I
definitely.
was lucky, but at the age of 30, I made a shift because I was stuck in my job. I don't have a university degree, but I worked as an engineer for Loblaws. I don't know
Wow.
if you knew that I
No, I
worked
didn't.
in the industrial engineering department, and
Good for
I
you.
got the job because I had one little certification that department needed, and you know, ironically, they ended up training me in something different, which
Yeah,
is I don't whatever. I got the job working with engineers, doing the jobs of engineers, learning the formulas that to prove the work that I did, all that
yeah,
stuff. But I knew that I couldn't get any higher than where I was because how am I supposed to be managing over other engineers with no degree? So I bravely, I would say, made that shift to real estate. And
wow.
I was going to choose financial planning as well, but I kind of liked houses a little bit more. Just interested me a little bit more as a kid. I would draw
Yeah,
houses, I would draw designs of things, and
yeah. It's hard to
so
draw a financial graph,
yeah, yeah.
an
But
inverted yield
yeah,
curve.
but I was young enough that if I failed, I would still be able to go back to where I was and be
Cool,
successful. But that
cool.
was the hardest thing I ever did. I went 6 months without making any money. Hard.
Yeah, yeah. That is tough, man. You didn't have kids at that time, did you?
No, that made it a lot easier. But
Yeah.
well, I did.
Yeah.
No, I did I have a son. I had a son when I was young.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. He's 28 now.
oh, holy smokes. But I don't get it, man. You're 32 years old. How'd you have a
I
kid at
know.
28?
That's Benjamin Button.
There you go. Well, to kind of touch on that, what's scary is, most people go to their work job, and not a shot at jobs or work, but I just hope people think about this is most people's job is never going to pay them enough money to live their ideal life.
No.
And I hope and I encourage everybody to write down, what does their ideal life look like? What does it look like for them to wake up every single day and be pumped up, fired up, super excited that they got to do what they want, not somebody else is telling them to do? How much money do you really need to do that? And we don't need to know the answer, but I am curious. Like, say you write down X amount of dollars. We'll just use 300 grand. Say you need 300 grand for you to go fly every single month, to live like you're living on a vacation every single month, be able to eat where you want, have the options to buy what you want, buy what car you want, and you go, okay, I need 300 grand. Ask yourself, will my job ever pay me 300 grand?
A
And
year?
yeah, yeah.
For most people, probably not.
Probably not. Or maybe their goal income is 100, 150 grand, whatever that amount is, to live the way that they want to live. And when you think about this, just ask yourself, if you know you'll never be able to make that income at where you are, what is really most important to you? Staying at your current job or living your ideal life? And this kind of goes back to what you're doing. You left and you took a chance. You might not made money for 6 months, but you took a leap of faith and said, I am going to go do this. I'm getting out of engineering, right? Because you made a decision. What was most important to you, staying at your job or living your ideal life,
Absolutely.
right? And I think more people need to be like that, Andrew. More
Yeah.
people need to have that level of courage to say, I'm going to go figure this out and try something else. That doesn't mean you go quit your job and try something full time, like Andrew here. That just means you go, hey, I got to figure out how to have something to get me to where I want to be. Because I don't know, like Phil Knight, what's his name? Yeah, Phil Knight, the guy that started Nike. Dude,
Hmm.
you know what he did full time before Nike went public?
Not a clue.
Dude, he was an accountant and he would sell sneakers. Isn't that wild? And he kept his accounting job up until Nike went public.
Wow.
That's wild. You can still build your ideal life. You just got to make decisions to help you get there. And yeah, so I know we were going to talk about finances, but I think this all ties together. Like, if you want to get to where you got to be, the first thing is you got to make more money.
Yeah.
And there are
Absolutely.
tools and resources available. Like, build a spending sheet. Don't half-ass it. Don't write on, okay, I spend money on this. This is. Go pull up your last 3, 4, 5 months of bank statements and write everything down. Don't be lazy. And find your staples that are the same thing. Find out how much money you actually spend on coffee. I guarantee you,
Yeah.
most people go, I only buy coffee once or twice a week. Okay, how much do you spend? I don't know. Do you have a budget for it? Do you have a strict spending limit on how much coffee you spend?
No.
No. And then if you're serious about buying a home, and Andrew, it's not just some people don't want home ownership and they want something else. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're serious about hitting those goals, you got to use the TFSA. You got to use RSPs. You got to be smart with your money, and the best way to be smart with your money is knowing where your money goes.
This goes, yeah. You're right. We did that exercise back in the summer. I mean, in real estate, we got in the habit of, money coming in and we just spent it. Dita and I were, my wife, Dita, before our daughter was born, it was just two of us and making good money. And we spent it we never had a budget. So this past summer we started, making a budget because interest rates were rising and all of a sudden our mortgage almost tripled. And we're
Wow.
like, oh, wow, I better do something about this.
Yeah.
And so what I realized that we spent on between Tim Hortons and Starbucks, between the two of us,
Yeah.
we spent about $300 a month.
A month?
A month.
Oh my God. How long do you think you're averaging $300 a month on Tim Hortons and Starbucks?
Probably, well, I would say confidently 7 years.
Gone for these 7 years?
Do the math for me. See how much money
I
I
am.
wasted.
I am. So listen.
Okay.
So in those 7 years, you spent $300 a month. So
Yeah.
meaning you put in $25,200. Okay,
Ouch.
because of interest. Okay, we'll say 9%. Okay, so I want to show you what you cost yourself. So I'm
Yeah.
going to take that 35 grand and I'm going to put it into the calculator, 190. And Andrew, how old are you actually?
I am 48.
Shut up, man. You're not 48.
Yeah.
Dude, I actually thought you were in your 30s, man. What the heck? So let's do 20
It's
years.
the camera.
It is, man. It is. So now we take that 35 grand you would have had over close to 70 years, and we never add to it again. Okay, we just leave it there for 20 years.
Okay.
We don't add to it. We decided you did your spending sheet and you said I'm not spending $300 anymore, so you no longer spend $300, but you just leave it there. That 35 grand after 20 years, so 27 years total, would be worth $211,000.
Ouch.
If people smoke and they hear this, I hope you know what you're costing yourself.
Well, how much does a
It,
pack of cigarettes cost?
yeah, I just found this out. So I remember when I was in high school, a pack of Belmonts or something like that were like $12. Now they're like
Yeah.
25 bucks.
$25.
Say you smoke 2 packs a week. All right, no, we'll do a pack a week.
A pack,
25,
yeah.
yeah, pack 50 was that $100. Do $100 every single year for 25 years. Oh my goodness, I don't even know. I already know what it's gonna kind of look like. It's just you do that for 25 years. That $100 is gonna cost you 112. Now after 25 years, Andrew, you say I'm gonna quit. I'm never gonna smoke again. So what you do is you keep putting $100 into your savings
Yeah.
and you take that $112,000 that you now have, 112,953, and take out that $100. That 112 grand that you could have invested would be worth $1 million after 25
So
years.
smoking cost $1 million.
Yeah, like I think a lot of us, I wouldn't say us. I don't smoke anymore, but I
I never
mean,
did.
see, there you go. That's a smart man.
I tried.
Guys,
In high school, I tried to fit in, but I just hated it so
I
much.
I didn't even know how to smoke when I was in high school. I remember the funny story. Guys, don't smoke. There's not an endorsement for smoking, but I remember smoking a cigarette and I had the filter backwards because it was dark, and I threw up everywhere. And I said I'm never gonna try smoking again. And then as I got older, I tried it for a little bit. But you know, if you're trying to quit smoking, don't look at it as it's 20, it's $25, it's $25, 25 bucks. Look at it as if I throw this into a compound interest calculator, how much am I actually costing and robbing myself down the road? Because it's not $25 a week, Andrew. It's $1 million over the course of,
100%.
we just
And
when you
not only
have
that,
time,
but you're costing your family because you're not going to be around.
yeah,
Like you're likely going to die a lot sooner than you would have, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy. Like, and I'm not knocking. Like, if you smoke, you smoke. I just, it's one of those things for me growing up is I never understood it. Like
yeah,
I was very similar to you. I tried smoking to fit in.
yeah,
I smoked a cigarette. I don't know if I had it backwards. Maybe I did. I don't know. But I remember going to the gym. We
yeah,
smoked that outside the gym. Me and my buddy, and the third guy is the guy that gave us the cigarettes. Both of us we felt like dizzy. We kind of stumbled down the stairs to the gym,
yeah.
and neither one of us ever touched a cigarette ever again.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to touch it after I just wanted to go work out too. That would make it worse, but that's a
Yeah,
good time for you to do that.
yeah,
I'm
true,
never doing
true.
this again. Wow, man. And again, just we got to make more money. We got to make more money. We
Yeah,
got to make smarter decisions. Don't buy $8 coffee. That
yeah,
money, that $300 you spend in a month, you
yeah,
can buy a decent coffee. Go buy
yeah.
a decent coffee machine, brew your own
100%.
coffee.
Yeah.
And if you really want coffee so badly, just coffee's not even that good for you. All right.
It helps that I have a good friend that owns a coffee shop too, so I
Yeah, there
get,
you go.
and he's
Yeah,
my business partner, so I usually get it for free.
yeah, yeah. I gotta start coming to
I
coffee
tried
with
paying
you.
for it once or twice, but he just won't have it. He makes
So,
me pay for food, but not the coffee.
so what you're saying is I should show up for coffee with you, eh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It only cost me half as much.
Yeah. There you
Listen,
go, man.
Halal, I know you got to get going here. I want to thank you for your time. I want to touch base again on another podcast because I think you have some insight as to ways that you can make more money,
Yeah.
right? And residual income is key. There's a number of things that you can do, and I'd love to hear your perspective on that. So why don't you come back on the podcast another time, and we'll dive into that.
We definitely will, man. We definitely will. Andrew, thanks so much for having me on. This has been incredible. It's always fun to hang out and chat. I will see you for some coffee soon, I promise. And then ladies and gentlemen, don't pick up bad habits and smoke them backwards. So have an
Yeah.
awesome day. Thank you, Andrew.